I got 2 words for you. Sex sells. Let's face it, humans are horny beasts, savage, horny beasts, and our movies used to reflect that. Intimacy used to be commonplace in cinema, as it should be. Cinema reflects the human condition. Now I fear our movies are being made by people who are actually chronically online and have never interacted with a human before. Case in point, Wuthering Heights, which might have been the least sexy movie I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm not looking for overtly raunchy, but come on, Emerald Fennell, show us some skin. You got Elordi, you got Margot Robbie. I think Elordi showed us his back like one. The art of sexuality lies in the desire, the subtleties, the longing. And movies stopped being sexy when they stopped believing that desire was something worth taking seriously. Let's indulge. All right, so here's the thing. When I'm talking sexy, I'm not just talking like the physical act of sex. I'm not talking bodies mushing. I mean, of course that plays a big role, but I think sexy lies in the lust, the longing, the desire. Not enough movies are giving us real human intimacy. And I think a first big reason for that is that movies stopped trusting the imagination of the audiences. The sad reality is that a lot of these streaming services, I'm looking at you, Netflix, make movies to be watched while you are doing something else. How does that make any sense at all? There's a term for this. It's called brain rot. I'm sure you all heard it. But now the brain rot is leaking from our phone screens onto the TV screens and in the form of movies. And that's a serious problem because movies are not meant to be digested while you are doing something else. And when movies are made in this kind of medium, they are made with negative subtleties. They are literally made so that you are force-fed every single aspect of the plot of what these characters are feeling. There is no room for interpretation because they got to make sure our little pea brains are able to pick up what's happening in the movie while we are doom scrolling our brain into an abyss of nothingness. And similarly, blockbusters are so geared towards general audiences that blockbusters were never really movies to take big risks. And let's call a spade, we are living through a blockbuster era of cinema. Eras like this have existed before, they've come and gone. Who knows how long this one will last, but we are firmly in a landscape that is dominated by the big movies. Throw all this together, and I don't even know if there's room for any kind of sexy or intimacy. And look, I'm not saying every movie needs some horned up ass sex scene. No, a movie doesn't need a sex scene to be sexy at all. Look at someone like Wong Kar-wai, who in my opinion is the king of creating intimacy in film. Whether it be the haze, the soft glowing lights, the dark alleyways, the glow, the effortlessly cool characters. He is a director who will go to the extremes to highlight every single nook and cranny of what it means to be a human and of what it means to be in a human relationship. The pain, the joy, the pleasure, all of it. And he does it in such a subtle way. In the Mood for Love is one of the clearest examples that intimacy doesn't require a physical act. It has such this erotic energy because it knows where eroticism lies, and that's in human desire. The intimacy in this film is built through the proximity of the two characters, knowing that what they're doing might not be right, so they try to pretend that what they're feeling isn't real. And you see this in the distance, physical and emotional, between the two characters. And the audience can connect with this intimacy through our own shared experiences. Think back to when you were a teenager, you're in school, you're walking through the hallways of whatever school you're in, and from down the hall, you see your crush walking up towards you. You stiffen up a little bit. Nothing is even said at all. Maybe you give a hi or a head nod, you try to play it cool. There's no real physical act here. You're just walking by each other on your way to class, exchanging pleasantries. But it's in this moment that it feels more intimate than anything ever before. Your emotions flare up because of nothing at all. These are all unspoken human things. No one really knows where it comes from, but everyone feels it. Intimacy requires these human subtleties, and oftentimes these subtleties just do not exist in modern cinema. Or at least I should say, in modern mainstream cinema. Of course, they still exist, but you gotta dig around to find it a little bit. Which leads me to my next point. I think a huge reason to why sexiness is disappearing on film is because our cultural landscapes are shifting. Let's face it, humans are more isolated right now than ever before. At least in the United States, loneliness is an epidemic. Flirting is a lost art. We don't date anymore. Society is fundamentally so different than what it was before the technological revolution of the last 15 to 20 years with social media and all the likes of it. Intimacy has been moved to the wayside, and it has been replaced by a seeking for comfort. And art reflects life. If we feel this, this is what we're gonna see on the screen. We live in an age of irony, and while I think this is shifting a little bit, we're still in the brunt of this cultural phenomenon where nothing can really be earnest or genuine anymore. Like us modern humans, contemporary films are afraid of sincerity. Sex is played for comedy, desire is undercut by jokes, vulnerability is always sprinkled with a hint of self-awareness. But eroticism requires the complete opposite of this. Commitment, ambiguity, unease, tension. When movies and humans became embarrassed by longing, we lost our collective nerve. And let's be frank, it's almost paradoxical how we live in such a sex-positive culture now, but conservatism and traditional values are on the rise all over the world. There's a clash between sexual liberation and sex as a taboo subject. And I know this is a stupid example of this, but look no further than our MPA rating system in the United States. Adult comedies or violent movies used to be rated PG, and I know the rating system was a little bit different back then, but an adult comedy like Airplane, which featured plenty of nudity and adult jokes, or a movie like Jaws were literally rated PG. Kids were allowed to see more, but now they're sheltered and guarded, which is actually funny because they're way less sheltered and guarded because they can just go on TikTok and see some dude getting their head chopped off or something. But there's just this constant push and pull of treating some subjects so seriously, but also trying to liberate ourselves from them. Pretty much every child, it seems, past the age of 10 has a smartphone at this point. And if you have a smartphone, you can basically see anything that is happening in the world. Nothing is racy or taboo when you can see it all on your little mind-numbing screen of yours. You have 11-year-olds who can go on social media and see some dude flexing his abs on a thirst trap or some girl basically naked, and no one will bat an eye. That's just how society is now. But for these developing brains, it's probably doing some pretty severe damage. But yes, because sex is so commonplace to all of us now, it no longer feels racy or necessary in movies. And the movies used to be the only gateway to this eroticism. Now the movies are just a sketchy back alley dealer, and it almost feels wrong to see it like that. Which is all to say, sex is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Which is funny because intimacy seems to be nowhere. Maybe it's that cinema has lost its edge for being sexy because we have all lost our edge for being sexy. Intimacy requires time and natural growth, which modern culture just isn't compatible with. Everything is go, 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 moving at a rapid pace in the modern world. Sex is easy, it's quick. But a proper story lies in restraint, in intentionality, and our world of excess lies in complete contrast with restraint and intentionality. Look at movies like Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight, the Before trilogy. This trilogy is 5 hours worth of people talking. That's it, 2 people. And yet, in my opinion, these are the most intimate and human movies I have ever seen. Why is that? It's because we get to see this relationship develop over the course of time. Sure, a relationship can feel good in the beginning, it can feel right, but only time will give us the clues or give us the answers as to whether it actually is. And these movies paint that picture perfectly. When I was in my low 20s and I watched this trilogy for the first time, it really couldn't have been a better time in my life to be watching it. Because when we're in our 20s, we're all lost in some ways, looking for answers. And in a way, these movies are comforting in saying that we don't need to find the answers. We just need to exist. We just need to experience life as it is in front of us. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy are superb in these films because they capture the small little intricacies of the human experience. And you want to know the best part about it? The physical intimacy in these movies are supremely limited. Everything comes from the human-to-human connection and the conversation and the implications, because oftentimes the implications are much sexier than anything that's overtly shown to us. The final scene in Before Sunset illustrates this notion perfectly. Honey, you're not getting on that plane. These movies understand something that we've all lost sight of. It was never about the sex. It was about our longings as human beings to see what we desire most on the big screen. And now, more than ever, I think we all desire meaningful human connection. But for whatever reason, and look, I'm no psychologist, we have become scared to act on them. Real human connection, it requires vulnerability. It requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. It requires rejection, fear, insecurity, taking a risk. Of course, none of these things are naturally fun to us as humans, but oftentimes they are also the answer to all of our problems. They are scary feelings, but they are necessary feelings. We can't continue to run from these feelings. Our modern world needs to learn to embrace them again. And then maybe once we do that, our films will learn to embrace them too. How about that, guys? We dug deep today. You know, some weeks I bring the jokes, some weeks I dive a little deeper. This week was the first time in a little while we really dove deep. I think I still got it. Guys, if you enjoyed this video or are new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is that you do on this platform that is YouTube. I will see you guys next time. Take care.